Your local model was fast yesterday, and today it crawls, and you did not change anything obvious, or it is quick on short questions and grinds to a halt the moment you paste in a long document. These slowdowns feel random and mysterious, but they almost never are. They come from a small number of predictable causes, and once you understand them, you can control your speed instead of being at its mercy. I tuned these on an old home GPU until they genuinely keep up with what I need, and I want to hand you the same set of levers, in order of how much they actually matter. Let me start with the single biggest cause of mysterious slowdowns, the context. Context is all the text the model is working with right now. Your prompt, the document you pasted, the whole conversation so far. And here is the part that catches everyone. The cost of processing grows with how much context you give it. A short question is cheap and fast. A long document is expensive and slow, and not in a gentle way. So when your model suddenly crawls, the first thing to check is almost always, did the context get long? That is why the same model feels fast on a quick question and painfully slow on a big input. Nothing broke, you just gave it a lot more to think about. Let me explain why long context is so costly. Because understanding it tells you how to manage it. The model has to relate every part of the text to every other part. As the text gets longer, the amount of that cross-referencing work grows faster than the text itself. Double the context and you more than double the work. So a really long input does not cost you a little more. It costs you a lot more. This is not a flaw you can patch away. It is fundamental to how these models work, which means the practical answer is not to wait for faster models. It is to be deliberate about how much context you actually feed in. Well, let me introduce the thing that makes longer conversations specifically slow over time. The KV cache. When a model generates a response, it builds up a working memory of the conversations, so it does not have to recompute everything from scratch for each new word. That working memory is the KV cache, and it lives in your precious VRAM. The longer the conversation gets, the bigger that cache grows, eating more memory and more time. This is why a long back and forth gets progressively sluggish, and why a fresh conversation feels snappy again. The cache reset. So if a chat has gotten slow, starting a new conversation is often the fastest fix there is. Here is the first concrete lever, and it is the highest impact one. Cap your context length. Most local AI tools let you set a maximum context size. Setting it sensibly does two good things at once. It limits how much memory the cache can consume, which keeps the model fitting comfortably on your card, and it puts the ceiling on how slow any single request can get. The trade-off is that the model can hold less text at a time. But for most everyday tasks, you do not need an enormous context, and trimming it is close to a free speed win. People leave the context maxed out, then wonder why things are slow. Dial it to what you actually need. The second lever is making sure the model genuinely fits on your GPU, because this is the difference between fast and unusably slow. I covered the VRAM math in another video, but the short version is this. If the model plus its context plus overhead fits in your card's memory, it runs fast. If it spills over onto the CPU and system memory, it drops off a cliff, 10 or 20 times slower. So if your model is just chronically slow, not slow over time but slow from the start, the likely cause is that it does not really fit and it is partly running on the CPU. The fix is a smaller model, a more compressed version, or a tighter context cap to free up room. Let me handle the loading delay because it gets misread as slowness constantly. The first time you ask a model something after a pause, there is a delay before it responds. Then everything is fast. That delay is the model loading into your GPU memory. Tools unload models after a period of inactivity to free the card, so the next request has to reload it. That is normal. It is not your model being slow. It is the model waking up. If those reload delays bother you, many tools let you keep a model resident in memory, so it stays loaded and ready. The trade-off is it holds your VRAM the whole time. But if you use one model constantly, keeping it loaded is worth it. Now let me talk about batching. because there is a real misconception here. People assume that to go faster, they should send many requests at once. On a big server with lots of memory, processing multiple requests together genuinely is more efficient. But on a typical home GPU running one model, you usually do not have the spare memory to batch much, and trying to run several heavy requests at once just makes them all compete for the same limited resources and slows everything down. So on home hardware, the honest advice is usually the opposite of batching. Run your tasks one at a time, let each finish, and you get the best throughput. Batching is a data center optimization, not a home one. Let me give you a lever people forget: output length. The model generates its response one word at a time, and each word takes time. So a request that produces a long answer takes longer than one that produces a short answer, simply because there are more words to generate. If you only need a brief answer, ask for a brief answer and cap the maximum length the model is allowed to produce. I have sped up automated tasks dramatically just by telling the model to be concise and capping its output, because I was letting it ramble when I only needed a sentence. Controlling how much it generates is a direct, reliable speed lever that costs you nothing. Let me separate two kinds of speed that people lump together, because the fixes differ. There is the time before the first word appears, and there is how fast the words stream after that. The time before the first word is mostly about processing your input, so it grows with how long your prompt is. A giant pasted document means a long wait before anything appears, even if the answer itself is short. The streaming speed after that is about generating each new word, which is fairly steady regardless of input length. So if your model takes ages to start, but then streams fine, your problem is a long input, and trimming the prompt fixes it. If it starts quickly, but streams slowly, your problem is the model not fitting well. Knowing which half is slow tells you exactly which lever to pull. Let me dig into prompt length specifically, because it is the lever people least suspect. Every word you put in the prompt has to be processed before the model can respond, and a bloated prompt makes every single request slower. People stuff in long instructions, huge examples, and pages of background, then wonder why responses lag. A lot of that is unnecessary. Tighten your instructions to the essentials. Trim examples to the few that actually help. Cut the background to what the model truly needs for this task. I have made automated tasks noticeably faster just by editing the prompt down, with no change to the model at all. A lean prompt is not just cheaper to process, it often produces better answers too, because the model is not wading through clutter to find what matters. Let me cover a setting that quietly governs speed, the precision the model runs at. This ties back to quantizations. A model running at heavier compression has less data to move around for each calculation, which can make it faster, not just smaller. So if a model is fitting but feels sluggish, trying a more compressed version can speed it up while also freeing memory at the cost of a little quality. It is a real lever, but use it deliberately, because past a point the quality drop is not worth the speed. The broader point is that the same model at different compression levels gives you different speed and quality trade-offs, and matching that to your task is part of keeping things fast without buying anything. Let me talk about what actually uses your card while a model runs, because it explains a lot of confusing behavior. When the model is generating, your GPU should be working hard. That is normal and good. But if you have other programs also using the graphics card, a game, video editing software, even some browser tabs with heavy graphics, they compete for the same resources and slow your model down. So a model that is mysteriously slow sometimes is not the model at all. It is something else hogging the card. The fix is simple. Close the heavy programs while you run AI, or accept that running both at once means both go slower. Checking what else is using your GPU is a quick diagnosis that people skip. Let me give you a real number you should actually track: tokens per second. That is the speed at which the model generates words, and most local AI tools can show it to you. It is your single best health check. When you know your normal tokens per second for a given model, you instantly notice when something is wrong, because the number drops. A model that usually runs at a comfortable reading pace, suddenly crawling at a fraction of that is a clear signal that it spilled, or the context got huge, or something else grabbed the card. Without that number, you are guessing about whether things are slow. With it, you have a concrete gauge that tells you immediately when to go investigate. I glance at it constantly. Let me name the temptation to fix speed by throwing hardware at it, and why it is usually the wrong first move. When things are slow, the easy story is that you need a better card, and sometimes, eventually, you do. But I have watched people spend real money on an upgrade only to find the new card was just as slow, because the actual problem was an oversized context or a model that did not fit getting handled badly. The hardware was never the bottleneck, the configuration was. So before you spend a cent, work through the software levers, cap the context, fit the model, trim the prompt, control the output, close the competing programs, fix those, and a surprising number of people discover their old card was fast all along. Let me put these in priority order so you know what to try first when something is slow. First, check the context length, because long context is the most common cause, and capping it is the biggest easy win. Second, confirm the model actually fits your card and is not spilling to the CPU, which causes chronic slowness from the start. Third, if a long conversation has gotten sluggish, start fresh to clear the cache. Fourth, cap the output length so the model is not generating more than you need. And fifth, do not try to batch on home hardware. Run tasks one at a time. Work down that list and you will fix the large majority of local slowdowns without spending $1. Yin coming to the timid complete tuning example from my own setup, because the abstract levers land better with a real case. I had an automated task that classified short pieces of text, running hundreds of times a day, and it felt slower than it should. I worked the levers in order. First, I looked at the prompt and found it carried a long block of instructions and examples I had pasted in months earlier, far more than the task needed, so I trimmed it down to the essentials. Then I kept the output, because a classification answer only needs a word or two, not a paragraph. Then I confirmed the model fit comfortably and was not spilling. The result was a task that ran several times faster than before, on the same old card, with no hardware change at all. That is the whole philosophy in one example. Let me name the worm versus code distinction one more time because it trips up automated work specifically. If your automation calls the model in bursts with long gaps between, the model keeps unloading during the gaps and reloading on each burst, paying that loading cost over and over. If it matters, keep the model resident so it stays warm and ready. But if your automation runs steadily, the model stays loaded naturally, and you never pay that cost after the first load. So when you measure the speed of an automated task, make sure you are measuring the warm steady state, not the code first run, because the first run includes the load and will look misleadingly slow. Judging your setup on a code start is how people convince themselves it is slower than it really is. Here is the mindset shift that ties it together, and it is the real takeaway. Fast local AI is mostly about managing context, not about buying a bigger card. People hit a slowdown and immediately think they need more powerful hardware. Usually, they just need to stop feeding the model more context than the task requires. Make sure the model fits and control the output length. I run genuinely fast local AI on a card that is years old, not because the hardware is special, but because I am disciplined about context. That discipline is worth far more than an upgrade for most people, and it is completely free. These are the unglamorous knobs that separate a local setup that frustrates you from one that genuinely keeps up. And digging into exactly this kind of practical detail is what this channel is for. Real working systems, honest trade-offs, the levers that actually matter. If that is your thing, subscribe and follow along. Subscribe for more AI builds.